Hello, friends. My name is Myron, and I'm so glad to be in the Vodcast TV studios in the Rosebank Mall. And I'm going to be starting my next recording, which is basically going to be talking to you today all about the Green Fund Company. So I'm super stoked to get in front of you and spend the next 40 to 50 minutes taking you through our latest prospectus. Okay, so the reason you're watching this is because you're interested in getting involved in the cannabis industry as an investor. So you have come across the link, someone told you about it, wherever you got it from, you're at the right place. So all I'm going to do now, I'm going to invite you to relax, put your feet up, watch this video. It's about 45 minutes, maximum an hour. And at the end of this hour, you're going to be in a position to make a decision on whether you want to invest in, number one, the cannabis industry, and number two, in our awesome company called Canna Trade Africa. Before I go any further, I'm going to bring your attention to a little document. So basically, what I'm showing you now is the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. Now, when I start my presentation, this is my third presentation. It's actually my fourth presentation. I've done 3 presentations in our store in Sandton. When I've started each presentation, I've utilized this particular document as my opening prop. Now, you look at me and say, Myron, okay, tell us more. Well, this is the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. Now, what is so wonderful about this bill is that this is the latest bit of legislation in the fight for legal cannabis in South Africa. And the day before elections, on that fateful Tuesday, I went home from my day's work in a decriminalized business. The day after elections, on that Thursday, I went to work for the first time in our new legal business. Now, this bill is not the cannabis for medicine bill. This is not the cannabis for recreational bill. This is the cannabis for private purposes bill. So what is so amazing about this bill is that this bill is basically all about cannabis for privacy rights. And that goes in line with the legalization that we have been following since 2017. But now you didn't sign up today for me to tell you all about the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. You've signed up and you've decided to watch this video because you want to know all about our investment opportunities. So without further ado, let's move straight into that. Okay, we are called Canna Trade Africa, and I am busy launching the Green Fund Company round 2. We start with an index. Now, a copy of this proposal or presentation or pitch pack, whatever you want to call it, will be made available to you. You can go onto our website right now. The website is www.thegreenside.coza. If you go to more, you see our prospectus, and that's where this particular pitch pack sits right now. The first page I start with is talking all about Canna Trade Africa. And Canna Trade Africa is the company that powers the green side. We are a cannabis seed to sale distribution company. We were incorporated at the beginning of 2019 after we launched in 2018 at the first ever Cannabis Expo. Around July, August of 2019, we opened our first store, which is called The Greenside in the suburb of Greenside. We opened our second store in May of 2021 in Kramerville, just near Sandton, and we opened our third store in Hazelwood, in the suburb of Pretoria, in August of 2022. And I'm really proud to say we have just opened our 4th outlet, which was this February, mid-February, in Midrand. So that is one hell of a track record for a company that only began in 2018 in a fledgling cannabis industry is all about brands. So over here on my screen, we've got some international brands in Royal Queen Seeds, in Aptus, in High Grade, in CBD Lux, and we have got some local brands, Lifolo, Bud Juice, Elixinol. So I am a professional marketer. When I began in cannabis, what was clearly evident to me that this game was all about marketing, and I really was ready for the journey of my life. Now, our business model is very interesting. We have three different sections. We have our direct retailing business unit, our brokering business unit, and our trade program business unit. These are three separate business units or divisions within the company. Now, direct retailing is what we are going to be talking about today. And that's what this presentation is all about. Direct retailing, which is really where we open up stores. But these stores are not normal retail stores. They are what we call discount retail stores. It's a store that gets to know you. And as you grow with our store, we learn your habits and we know exactly what you want. It's a new type of store. Then we've got the brokering. Brokerage is where we join the dots between licensed growers or cultivators of cannabis and licensed buyers of cannabis. And of course, our third business unit is our trade program. In our trade program, we basically join the dots between products and the manufacturing or importing of those products and taking those products to the market. Now, I must be 100% honest with you. Direct retailing is where we are focused. We set out to build a brand that owns the customer. Brokering, it's good. It falls in our lap. We do it. But trade is very different in our kind of a company. So I set out to build a different type of trade program. And that is what we are going to talk about right now. So what we did, we first of all set up direct trade, which is just regular trade. So direct trade is regular trade. It's basically where you've got regular trade with a regular range of greenside products. But that's not our main focus. Then we've got what we call kiosks. A kiosk is where we find a partner who has a successful primary business. For example, we have a partner in Bergville who has a backpackers, and in that backpackers, we set up a cannabis kiosk as a secondary business. Another example of this is our partners in Equestria, Pretoria. These people have got a vape shop that is very much involved in harm reduction, and we have put a cannabis clinic in their vape shop to assist with this movement of harm reduction. So that is our kiosks. We then move over to our third trade program in what we call joint ventures. Now, a joint venture is very exciting for us as we have just opened our first joint venture. It's still in its infancy. It's only 4 months old. It's going very, very well. It's a JV. It's a new co where we own 50%, our partners own 50%, but it is a greenside store. And in these joint ventures, we are doing lounges that are cannabis specific, which we call a lounge and cannaporium. We are doing lounges that is pharmacy specific, which is a lounge and pharmacy, and then we are also doing inner city kiosks. So that is something that we are doing within our JVs. So you can watch this space if you're watching this video and you want to know a little bit more about our expansion plan within our trade program. That is where we are opening up kiosks, and you will see kiosks opening up all over the place in very strategic positions with very strategic partners. And of course, the joint ventures that either will be inner city kiosks or these new types of lounges. we now look at the value of the cannabis industry. Now, we have a number. There's 102 billion rand. And over here, I have a link. And if I click on that link, I can read all about it. So when you get a hold of your prospectus on the website or request a copy from us, you can download that link and check it out yourself. So I'm saying to you, the cannabis industry is going to be worth 102 billion by 2026. That is 2 years by now, 2 years from now. And we're going to have an industry worth 102 billion just in South Africa. So I ask you, Mr. Prospective or Miss Prospective or Mrs. Prospective Investor, and I ask you, any of our partners who are watching this, who are also saying, why don't we come on board? I'm asking you the question, are you with us? Are you not? And if you're with us, we are going to huddle together and we are going to capture 1% of this 102 billion. And if my maths is correct, that is R1 billion. And R1 billion is plenty for us and all of our partners. There's plenty to go around. We don't need to be greedy. So now you have a rough idea. You are in the right place. You've decided to watch this video. You've taken the first step because here you've just learned that this industry will be worth 100 billion within 2 or 3 years. Hell of a thing. So we now look at CanaTrade Africa versus our competition. Well, firstly, we have got a deal with a pharmaceutical manufacturing company. And it's very important if you are going to do business in the cannabis game. We may not always like the pharmaceutical industry, but it is very necessary to have the right partners. We have other partnerships with licensed cultivators. Some of our partners had research licenses, and then they now have gone from a research license to a full license, and we have licensed cultivators. We have international and local relationships with brands, and I told you cannabis is all about brands, and some of these brands are local brands, and some of these brands are international brands, and we have got either direct relationships with these brands or a relationship that basically means that we work together as a collective. We know what we want to be, and we know that we will be a leader in the cannabis wellness sector. That is really what we are going for. Through SEO, we have achieved really top results. And if you go and you Google CanaTrade Africa and you type in different keywords, you will see how we come out time and time above the competition. That is because when we began in 2018 with this brand, CanaTrade Africa, we set out to capture the SEO. Now, talking about our library of websites, when the presentation is finished, I then will take you through these websites. But at this point, I'm not going to break your concentration. I'm not going to break our flow. But what about the numbers? The numbers. Well, I got involved in this business, as I explained to you people, in 2019. Done in that first year, we were fortunate to have done 2.3 million rand with a small loss of 34,000 rand. Now, basically, to have done 2.3 million rand for a brand new business that had just started, that only had our shop open for 4 months, is quite fantastic. And I have created many companies, but I've never created a company or a project that did over 2 million rand for its very first year. The next year, which was through COVID, which is basically Feb 2021, we jumped from 2.3 million to 3.2 million. Now, this is absolutely staggering to have grown our base from 2.3 million to 3.2 million and still have a small loss of about 64,000 Rand. And this was through COVID. We carried on growing. The next year, which is Feb 28, which would be 2022, we grew from 3.2 million to 5.2 million with a loss of 32,000 Rand. Now let's just take you through these numbers. We are saying 2.3 million Rand our first year, 3.2 million Rand our next year, 5.2 million Rand our third year. And we have then carried on growing. We have gone past 9.5 million Rand our fourth year, and I'm really glad to say that the year has just finished. We've moved beyond 13 million Rand. So we have grown a business from 2.3 million Rand to 13 million Rand within 5 years, with 2 lockdowns and an energy crisis, with riots against all the odds in an industry that's undefined. And what we did uniquely in this industry is that we set out in this undefined, uncharted land. We set out with a view to create our own compliance, to create our own story, which you're going to hear a little bit more about next. Aha! I get it. I see it. Because what we did, we took what we had done in Greenside, which was wonderful, and Greenside really is still the most fantastic, amazing store. But we created a store in Sandton that is duplicatable. Now, my friends, this word is very important when you understand why you are investing with Myron Crossed, because I am all about building sustainability. Now, if I go to the next share, I'm so glad to announce that the run on those 14 shares have already begun, because the first shareholder sold their shares. One of our shareholders sold their shares back to Canada Africa, and we bought it at 250,000 Rand. Because as I explained to you before, and you'll understand more about this later, the new Green Fund company requires 3% of Canada Africa. And if I'm selling the equity, I will sell it at the highest rate. And we have started the run on our first round of investment. So now you, Mr. Investor, are asking the question, what is in it for me? How do I make money? Well, I'm showing you. You make money from capital appreciation. Investors bought in at 157,000. They are now able to sell already within 2 years at 350 and 450,000 Rand. Now that is really very, very good returns on a capital appreciation. We have 3 main brands. So we have the brand which is Canna Trade Africa. This is actually the name of our company, but it's also a trademarked brand. Now, Canada Trade Africa talks about the 3 Bs: best products, best protocols, and best prices. It's not good enough that we have a product that is only a great product. It has to have the right protocols of the way that product has been made, and it has to come in at the right price. And this is the 3 Bs of Canada Trade Africa. The logo itself will show you where it's the cannabis industry coming from the world into Africa and from Africa back out to the world again. That is Canna Trade Africa. We then move over to the Greenside Fresh and Healthy. I began this brand called Fresh and Healthy. I began it around 2016. And it's all about distributing organic veggies from the farm to the house or the kitchen table. And when I got involved in the cannabis industry in 2018, and when I sat with the legal representatives, they explained to me, I had the perfect vehicle to build a private club because we had built Fresh and Healthy as an NPO or an NPC, and Fresh and Healthy was all about teaching people how to use organic food and superfoods. And all we needed to do was create what we call the Superfood Foundation. And I told you at the beginning of this presentation that the name of the bill is the Cannabis for Private Purposes Bill. So all we needed to do was take Fresh and Healthy and our superfood focus and build a foundation, which is called the Superfood Foundation. Studied the market in Barcelona, California, Israel, Amsterdam, Canada, to understand the framework. And we then built, based on the Barcelona model, we built our private members club. And we set out to defend our private members club from all of those who tried to intimidate us from trading. And we stood up proud to all those parties. And eventually, we had to stand up proud to the authorities last year. And we came through that. The NPA told the particular authorities at the time to give us back our stock, to leave us alone, that we were on the right side of the law. And today, we are the ones who are working hands in hand with Fields of Green, who is the first step in privacy clubs. We are working hand in hand to write the Dacha Private Club Association. We have already written the code of conduct. So our club and this club that you are busy deciding whether you are going to buy into or possibly partner with, it is this club that is being utilized to show everybody what to do. And on the 7th of August, we are going to be launching this association with a wonderful campaign called Just Don't Pay, Join the Good Guys. That is something that you'll watch out in our socials for. Posed by many parties that said, you can't do it. You can't sell your products here in the street. You can't do it for whatever the reason was. And the more people said can't, I didn't hear the T. I heard can. Can. I can do it. I will do it. We did it. We trademarked the Greenside brand, and we set out to build a brand that is so strong that today is becoming viral. Here is a wonderful store gallery. If you haven't been to the Greenside, well, you're really missing out. But you can see a few of our pictures that come out of the Sandton store and come out of the Pretoria store. A bit of time to just clear your head, stretch yourself up, and get ready for the meat of the presentation, because what we're going to talk about now is going to assist you to make that decision. And when you finish this presentation, you're either in or you're not in. But maybe if you're not in right now, you'll be in later, and we'll tell you more about that. Okay, so firstly, we are forming a company called the Green Fund Company. The Green Fund Company has been formed by Canna Trade Africa to look after our expansion plan. And Richard Cooper, over there, Richard Cooper, who I've introduced you to before, as one of our executives, is our main partner within the Green Fund Company. Now, the Green Fund Company, over a 3-year period, is going to open a minimum of 6 stores, and it's going to inspire far more than 6 stores. So the first store within the Green Fund Company was opened in 2022, because this is the second round of this fundraise. And that store was opened in 2022 and has been going now for 18 months. And that store is basically a carbon copy of our Sandton store. Now, Canada Africa opens a new company called the Green Fund Company that's going to open 6 stores. 50% of that company is owned by you and our other investors, and the other 50% is owned by us, Canatrade Africa. So we've opened the Pretoria store, and it has been running for 18 months, and you can visit it, and you can go see what it's all about and understand what you are buying into. We then opened a lounge in Midrand, which was opened this year, which is one of our franchise stores. So let me explain to you a little bit about what we're doing. The first thing we're doing is learning how to support stores on a duplicity concept, where we duplicate. So we open a store in Gauteng, and we open up the regional store of Gauteng in the city of Pretoria. Now you say to me, Myron, why are you opening one store in Gauteng when other cannabis companies are opening stores all over the place? Because basically, we have the two stores, the Greenside store and the Sandton store, that teach us what to do. Now we will be opening one store per region as a big store, as that's called a touch point store. So it's a store for people to visit, see, learn, and when they need to engage, they can engage online, they can engage via a smaller kiosk somewhere. They have options on how they engage. So Pretoria is our first store. We then will open up Cape Town. We then will open up KZN. We then will open up Garden Route. And then we will have our 4 stores opened up. We then are going to go offshore. So we're first going to learn how to run a store in Pretoria. We're then going to learn how to run a store in Cape Town. Now we are very successful in running our store in Pretoria, so now we are learning how to run a store then we will learn how to run a store in Cape Town, which is 2 hours flight away and a whole day's drive. We then will practice running our stores and open up the other regional stores, and then we will go and tackle one store in Africa and one store in Europe. And by the end of that, we will have a good knowledge. We will have our 2 stores that Canatrade Africa own and our other 6 stores that includes an entire offshore plan. And I'll tell you more about the offshore plan later. So round 1 in the Green Fund Co., we set out to raise 3.7 million. And with this 3.7 million, we set out to open up our Pretoria and Cape Town store. We raised the capital and we managed to open up our Pretoria store. And due to the energy crisis, it took a little bit longer than planned. And we basically got that store sustainable and survived very nicely to this point. And now we are raising in the next round to open up the Cape Town store. So before we go any further, let's explain to you how this round worked that will make it easier for you to understand the next round where you guys are going to be buying. So if someone bought in round 1 and we had 20 shares available and they're all gone now, the investors paid 185,000 Rand. So if someone paid 185,000 Rand and they received this little green this green piece over there. This piece included a micro share in the main business. So for example, over there is a little green piece over there, and there's a little green piece over there, and there's a little green piece over there. And it shows you how within each unit you buy or share you buy, there's a small micro share in the main business. So for example, in this particular situation, you paid 150,000 Rand for your share in the Green Fund Company, and you paid 35,000 for your micro share in Canatrade Africa. So it's pretty simple to understand. 185,000 was the buy-in, and 185,000 gave you 1% in the expansion plan. And the money that we raised, the 3.7 million was used to open the Pretoria store, to make the Pretoria store sustainable, to get the plan going for the Cape Town store, and to get us to the next step. We know how to run stores in a very cost-effective way. So to run the store in Pretoria is anywhere between 77,000 Rand over here and 103,000 Rand over there. And this is really the kind of money we need to run a store with everything in. This, of course, does not include any of your executives that are part of Canada Africa or the marketing services, but it is really what we need to run that store with a team. We then ask the question, how aggressively and can we make our money back? Now, I must be honest with you. The minute we start talking about ROI, returns on investment, it's when I say, okay, hang 10 people. Remember how I started the conversation. The reason you are buying into this investment is not to receive dividends. Yes, there will be dividends down the line, but you are buying in for capital appreciation. You are buying in to get a little piece of one of the top 10 cannabis companies in the country. And if you think about the cell phone industry or the telephony industry, and you ask the question, how many companies are there in telephony? You'll know maybe MTN, you'll know Vodacom, you'll know Cell C, you'll know Telkom, you may know Huawei, but you won't know all 10. But there are no more there are no more companies. Those 10 companies own everybody. Yes, it has taken 20 years to get here, but go back 20 years to the beginning of the cell phone industry. There were Blackberries, there were Nokia companies, there were all these companies, there was Autopages. And where are all these companies today? They are gone. And who exists? 10 giants. So I can tell you, friends, and this is for free, when we get there, when the cannabis industry gets to the same place that the cell phone industry is, and whether it takes 10 years or 20 years, ultimately there will be 10 big players. And we will be one of those 10. And you, if you buy in now, will also be one of those 10. And the shareholders, that is environment first, then consumer, right? Then team member, then executive, then shareholders. So, Myron, you're inviting me into your business as a prospective shareholder, but you're telling me that I have the last focus. Yes, that is exactly what I'm telling you. And if you look at any of the big businesses out there, if you look at Jeff Bezos and the story of Amazon, and if you look at the FANGs, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, Google, Alphabet, all of these big companies, and you see what is their market cap against all the other companies, you will learn very carefully that if you are going to survive in the future business of singularity, in the future business of the fourth industrial revolution, then you better build a business that, number one, is good for the environment, and number two, good for the customers, and number three, good for the people who work there. And yes, shareholders will get taken care of. If you manage to buy Apple shares when Apple first listed, you probably never got a dividend your entire life. I don't think Apple's ever given a dividend. But look at your appreciation. And that is what I am showing you now. I am showing you the path. This is the same conversation about Bitcoin. If you got in Bitcoin when Bitcoin first launched, when it was $2,000, today it's excess of $50,000. I mean, this is madness, what is going on in our world right now. Okay, so the next cost estimate will be to open the Cape Town store. Why are we opening Cape Town? Well, Cape Town is still very relevant, and I can tell you why we are opening Cape Town. Basically, Cape Town is our next store. It's 1,500 kilometers from Johannesburg. We want to learn about supporting a store in Cape Town. We've done 2 cannabis expos in Cape Town and have many customers in Cape Town. And yes, Cape Town has got many cannabis companies, but we are not going to Cape Town to compete. We are going to Cape Town to complete. We are going to complete the cannabis industry. And that's why we go to Cape Town. Cape Town is segmented by economics. It's basically very wellness-centric. Cape Town has got a population of people that leave Cape Town during the winter months and come back. These people that are called the Swallows are extremely open to cannabis and wellness. Cape Town is a center of the artistic and marketing community, and as a market leader in cannabis, it's only right we have a store in Cape Town. Okay, cool. That is why Cape Town. You are here to make a decision to invest in cannabis, and now I'm going to show you how to do it. So in round 2, we are going to be raising 7 million rand. And round 2 was only opened a month ago. And you are still early to come in on round 2. We've only been presenting it for a little while, and there are still lots of opportunities available for you to get in on the action at the ground level. Let's go a little bit further. So firstly, what is the number? Well, I told you round 1 was 185,000 Rand. Round 2 is now 467,000 Rand. Now at 185,000 Rand, we found 20 investors who each bought in, who believed in us, and who are they? Well, the late AKA Kieran Forbes, he's one of our investors. His estate owns one of our shares. Investment bankers, actuaries, corporates, artists, customers, just normal people, but also a lot of savvy people. The first round, when we built the green seed and we opened Santa, I told you, people said to me, Myron, what's going on? How can you take a view of 15 million Rand for your company? But when I launched round 1 in the Green Fund Company, we got savvy investors bought in. And now we're launching round 2. And round 2 is more than double. And it's not that easy to find people out there with just under 500,000 Rand. Do you have 500,000 Rand, my friend? You watching this right now. And if I say to you, will you invest? You say to me, man, I can't invest. How am I supposed to find 500,000 Rand? But let me show you some magic. All we do is we take the 467,000 Rand and we take the 15 shares available and we take each share and we divide it by 100 into 1,500 micro units. Look over here. Each 1% in Canada and Africa is divided by 100 to make 1,500 micro units of 4,670 each. Now, my friend, yes, you watching this, it's under 5,000 Rand. I'm asking you. You want to get in. You've missed everything up until now. Why not? Can you afford to invest 4,670 Rand? You know you can. You just have to want to. And that's why you are here with me. You are learning why you should. And if you still are not convinced by the end of this presentation, and you would love to attend a live presentation, and you would love to meet me in person, go to the website when you finish watching this presentation and basically click through on one of the forms and ask to attend a live presentation, and you'll be invited to a live presentation. 1,280 left. Now you say to me, Myron, that's quite a lot. Not for long, my friend. Not for long. Because this video, as you are watching it, there are 100 other people watching it at the same time. The way you clicked onto this link via a TikTok video, via Instagram, via Facebook, or someone sent it to you who is part of our influencing program. And let's just summarize. Round 1 was 3.7 million raised. We opened the Pretoria store. We have an example of what it's all about. You can go see it. Proof of concept in the bag. Round 2, 15 shares at 467,000 Rand each. You can buy 1 at the full amount. You can buy 10 at 46,000 Rand, or you can buy 1 at 4,670 Rand. Round 3, we're now going to be raising 13.5 million. And when we raise 13.5 million, we are going to raise that because we know how expensive it is to do business in Africa and how to get into Europe. This slide we're going to utilize to help you understand the bigger picture. So basically, how to invest in Canada and Africa. We start with 20 Class C shares available. These are ordinary shares. They sell at 185,000 Rand a share, and those shares are now all sold. There were 20, they are gone. If you want to buy this share is now going for 250,000 Rand if anyone wants to buy one of these shares, and there's only one for sale. Remember, the investors don't have to ever sell, and most of our investors are holding on for dear life. When we go to round 2, and that is what we launched a month ago, round 2, we launched 15 shares. They are Class B shares. They are also ordinary shares, and we launched it at 467,000 Rand. But now, in order to make it more attractive, in order to make it easier for normal people in this round, we have divided the 467,000 by 1,500 to get to 4670. And the 4670 is called a micro unit, or commonly known as a penny stock. So that is the current offerings. And that brings me to the end of this presentation, where I say to you, thank you, thank you, thank you for taking the time out to be with me right now, listen to me, and hear me. Now, before I give you the notes and the appendix, for those of you who still got a little bit of time, and hopefully I managed to give you the full presentation and give you all of my energy to help you make a great decision, you are now going to say to me, Myron, what's in it for me? Let me tell you what's in it for you. For the amount of 4,670 Rand, that's under 5,000 Rand, you can own a piece of the most dynamic, awesome cannabis company out there. You can own a piece of a company that's on its way to a listing in 4 years' time. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend time with me. Thank you so much for learning all about the cannabis industry. Thank you so much for learning all about Canada and Africa. And thank you so much for just really being you and taking some time to be with me. Namaste. Now, before I leave, for those of you who want just to get a little bit more information, I'm going to spend not more than 10 minutes quickly showing you a few things that you need to know. The first thing you need to know is how will you get your unit? Well, if you look over here, here is what we call a share option agreement. You'll be able to go onto our website and you'll be able to fill out this document on our website. And if you can't do it or figure out how to do it, go onto the website, go to the Prospectus page. On the more, find a button, contact us and say, hi, I want to get a share option. You then will give us your name and your ID number. You will tell us how many units you want to buy, and then you will be given 14 days in which to pay the money. And if you don't pay the money in those 14 days, don't worry about it. You're not going to lose anything. We're not going to charge you for this option. But if you do pay the money, that way you can have your unit. And the reason why we do something like this is because when the run starts, we will get some investors who will come in and buy large chunks. And we never know. And you might be right here in front of me right now, and you want a unit. So you got to get yourself one of these documents signed, and you got to get it done right now. Because the next conversation that I have might be with someone who buys everything because the cannabis industry is beginning, and I mentioned that 102 billion rand number. In there, if you'd like to buy in, and there's all the options. When we say buy in, it means that's where you would be filling out your document. The Greenside website is the most wonderful website. It is got knowledge base, it has got items, and you just really can't beat it. Over here, you've got amazing blogs. There's over 1,000 products. If you click into any category, let's say I'm going to click into the apothecary category, let's rather click into the pharmacy category, you will see that there is a video from me telling you all about the pharmacy. So there's a lot of information everywhere. If you decide you now want to buy this lovely wrap, that's a Greenside wrap, you could click in there and there's a whole way for you to interact with us. The next website I'm going to show you is the Fresh and Healthy website. Here is a Fresh and Healthy website. You can see the new brand, the Greenside Fresh and Healthy, which is trademarked. You can see that it follows a similar look and feel to the other websites, so you can still see that all come out of one stable. You can see more information all about your veggie boxes. We then click over to the Canada Trade Africa website. Again, here is the Canada Trade Africa website. It's again clicking through to our websites, seeing what we're all about, finding out where our stores are and what we're all about. So it's a website that really talks all about the company. We then move over to the Green Clinic website. The Green Clinic website is a website that will be housing our wellness hub, to be housing our entire wellness program. We are very proud of the Greenside Clinic, but it's still coming. So that is the end of our presentation today. I really want to thank you for taking the time to come and spend time with me. You are educated, you have information all about the Green Fund Company, you have information all about Canada Trade Africa. You've met me, Myron. Come into one of our stores in Gauteng. Come and see us. Come and chat to us. Pop in, learn, and just know that cannabis and wellness is here for the foreseeable future. And we're not going anywhere, and we're here to support you, and we're here to take you on this wonderful, wonderful journey with us. Thank you so much for listening, and we really, really appreciate your time and your effort and taking the time. And we want to hear further from you, so please reach out and talk to us. And remember, we are here for you. Namaste.